Blue and red lights flashed everywhere. Cops swarmed onto my yard, surrounding Karen's perfect little wedding. Guests froze, forks halfway to their mouths, staring in disbelief as officers shouted commands. Champagne glasses fell, breaking on tables and grass, and the fancy violin music screeched to a halt. Karen stood there, mouth open, face pale with horror, clutching her glittery purse like it was a life raft.
Nobody move. We've received reports of illegal trespassing. Who's responsible here?
Karen finally snapped out of her shock. She rushed forward on shaky legs, waving her manicured hands wildly.
Officers, this is a huge mistake. I'm the HOA president. I have permission.
That was my cue. No, you don't, I said loudly, walking forward from behind the flashing lights. Karen spun around, eyes wide with shock. You never had my permission. You're trespassing, and you know it. Her face went from white to red in seconds.
You did this?
Karen screamed, pointing an accusing finger.
You called the cops on my daughter's wedding?
I called the cops, I said calmly, because you invaded my property. Guests whispered nervously as Karen lunged toward me, only to be quickly restrained by two officers. She thrashed angrily, dropping her purse, spilling makeup and tissues onto the grass.
Ma'am,
The officer said firmly, pulling her aside.
you need to come with us.
As Karen was marched away toward the police cars, guests began quickly grabbing their belongings, stumbling over chairs and tripping over tablecloths, eager to escape the unfolding chaos. I smiled slightly, feeling a deep satisfaction. Karen thought she could do whatever she wanted because she controlled the HOA, but she'd finally pushed me too far. But how exactly did we get here? Let's rewind. It all started 3 weeks ago when I came home early from a weekend away. I'd barely turned onto my street when I saw a delivery truck unloading chairs, tables, and a massive white tent right in my backyard. What the hell? I muttered, quickly parking my car and marching across the lawn. Workers were setting up flower arches, arranging tables, and even hammering stakes into my freshly mowed grass. Who authorized this? I asked a man carrying stacks of tablecloths. He shrugged.
Lady named Karen said she owned the property.
Karen, of course. I immediately stormed over to her house, just 2 doors down. She opened the door with that fake HOA president smile, the kind reserved for when she planned to do something nasty.
Hi, neighbor.
She chirped falsely.
Is something wrong?
Why is there a wedding being set up in my backyard? I asked sharply. Karen's expression soured slightly, but she quickly regained her composure.
Oh, you weren't supposed to be back yet. It's just a small family wedding. You weren't using the yard, so...
So you thought you'd just help yourself? I interrupted, voice rising with anger. It's private property. You can't do this. She laughed dismissively.
Well, it's already paid for and arranged. Besides, I'm HOA president. I have authority around here.
You have authority in the HOA, I said coldly, stepping closer. Not in my backyard. She waved her hand, annoyed.
It's just one event. Don't make a big deal out of it.
I clenched my jaw, my patience wearing thin. Remove your stuff immediately or I'll handle it.
Do your worst. Everything stays.
That was her mistake. She underestimated how serious I was about protecting what was mine. After all, I'd dealt with her petty HOA threats for years, but trespassing onto my private property was going too far. Over the next few days, I quietly documented everything. I photographed every piece of evidence, the tent, the tables, the workers, and even Karen giving instructions to caterers in my yard. I contacted an attorney friend and had him draft a cease and desist notice, which she arrogantly tore up right in front of my face.
You're being ridiculous.
Karen sneered.
Just enjoy the festivities.
Fine. If Karen wanted festivities, she'd get festivities. 2 days before the wedding, I overheard her bragging to a neighbor about how she'd shown me my place. Her arrogance pushed me to my limit. I went home, took a deep breath, and dialed a number I knew well but had never imagined I'd call.
911, what's your emergency?
Yes, I said calmly. I need to report a planned trespassing event happening on my property this weekend. There's going to be an unauthorized gathering, possibly hundreds of people. I'm worried things might escalate. The dispatcher assured me they'd investigate promptly. Hanging up, I smiled for the first time in days. Karen wanted to play games? Fine, but she had no idea how badly she was about to lose. And that's exactly how we got to tonight, the epic moment when Karen's elegant wedding came crashing down, complete with sirens, chaos, and sweet, sweet justice. But Karen wasn't done fighting yet. Things were about to get even crazier. 2 days after the police raid, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Notifications poured in, texts, tags on social media, missed calls from random numbers. At first, I thought it was just fallout from the wedding chaos. But then I opened Craigslist, and everything became crystal clear. My address had been posted all over the internet. Free TVs, furniture, appliances, first come, first served. I just stared at the screen, then slowly turned to look out the window, and of course there she was, Karen, standing across the street in her robe, coffee in hand, with the smuggest grin on her face. She even gave me a little wave. Within an hour, my driveway was packed with strangers. People rolled up in pickups, vans, even trailers ready to haul away whatever free stuff they could get. One guy came to the door and asked,
Hey, is the microwave still available?
Another peeked over my fence and yelled,
Where's the fridge? Don't lie, it was in the photos.
I realized if I didn't shut this down fast, they were going to trample my yard and tear the place apart. So I stepped out onto the porch, took a deep breath, and raised my voice. Hey everyone, looks like there's been a mix-up. The giveaway is actually 2 houses down at Karen's place. She just put the wrong address. Head over there, she's got everything you're looking for. The crowd froze, exchanged confused looks, and then the stampede began. In seconds, dozens of people flooded Karen's yard. Some ran to be first in line. Her perfectly trimmed lawn, flattened. Her garden, crushed. Her porch, swarmed.
Are you Karen?
Where's the television?
Someone said there's free furniture?
Karen ran outside, flailing her arms.
There's nothing here. This is a mistake. Leave.
But the crowd wasn't having it. One man waved a screenshot with her name on it. Others peeked through her windows. Someone even jiggled the handle on her backyard gate. Neighbors started coming out to see the commotion. Some were filming. Others just watched, shaking their heads. Karen was unraveling, screaming, pushing people. And then, of course, she pointed at me.
This is his fault. He did this. He set me up.
Right then, the police pulled up again. After hearing a few stories and pulling up the bogus ads, the officers turned to her with stony faces.
Ma'am, you're under arrest for harassment, disorderly conduct, and misuse of emergency services.
She shrieked.
This is revenge. You're all crazy.
But within a minute, they were walking her to the patrol car in cuffs. The crowd cleared a path. Someone even clapped. I stood on my porch, arms folded, watching her disappear behind the squad car door. Second arrest in 1 week. This time, with a public audience. And, yeah, it was glorious. This time, Karen's humiliation was complete. The community voted swiftly to remove her as HOA president, publicly condemning her actions. Shunned by everyone and unable to endure the embarrassment, she quietly put her home up for sale. As I watched the moving truck pull away weeks later, I smiled and took a deep breath of victory. Karen fought dirty, but I fought smarter. She started the war, but I finished it. Like and subscribe.